Hello everyone. Today we complete the first year of our journey in storytelling. We have done about 40 to 45 stories both in English and Hindi. And the torchbearer of this idea, that is Pehel, my daughter, who pushed me and motivated me to open a storytelling channel, will be the narrator of the story today. Let's hear a very interesting story from Pehel.
I thanked Sudha Murthy to create a story like the language of the dogs, which I am going to narrate to all of you today. Amit and his wife Preeti were high-ranking officials in a kingdom. They were very rich, powerful and young. They lived in a mansion. They lived with a servant called Ramu who had served them from several years. One day, Ramu brought a small 6-year-old boy with him to the house. His name was Dheeraj. Ramu went and asked Preeti, "I found him today by the village fair. Can he stay with me?" Preeti wondered. Then she said, "Sure, but he should work for us and not spoil the premises." And this is how Dheeraj started living with Amit and Preeti. One day, Amit hosted a lunch with very important ministers of the king's court. When the ministers came, they had a very good time. They had lunch. Suddenly, the barking of 2 dogs disturbed them. Amit was angry. He quickly called Ramu and said him to shoo away the dogs. But when Ramu did so, the dogs refused to listen to him. Now, Amit was sad. He was disappointed. They were having a peaceful time and it was all ruined because of the dogs. He wondered and said, only if there was someone who could understand the language of dogs and speak to them so that they could tell them to leave. Then Dheeraj heard this. He came forward and said, "I understand the language of dogs. Can I speak to them? Can I tell you what they are telling?" Everyone laughed and jeered at him. They made rude comments about him. How could someone understand the language of dogs? Dheeraj came forward and said, "There are 2 dogs, a male and a female. Male dog is talking to the female dog. This couple is being served by this small boy. But one day, the owner of this house will bring a bowl of water for the boy to wash his hands, and the lady will take a towel for the boy to wipe his hands." Amit was annoyed. How could this be true? He said to Dheeraj, "Stop making your own stories. Tell me the truth. How can someone understand the language of dogs? I don't believe you. Enough is enough. I don't want this boy anymore in my house," he said to Ramu. After Dheeraj had slept that night, Ramu had to take him and put him in a boat where he kept some fruits for him and sailed him in the sea. In the morning, when Dheeraj woke up, he was surprised. How could he be sailing in the boat? Anyways, he was hungry, so he ate some fruits. After that, the waves were becoming harsher when he saw a small ship nearby. The ship's captain saw him and thought of rescuing the boat as the waves were getting harsher. So he sent a rescue team. After Dheeraj came in the ship, he asked him what happened, why was he sailing like this. Dheeraj explained the whole story. The ship captain felt sorry for him. He said, "I would like to adopt you." And from that day on, Dheeraj learned everything about the ship, every direction it was going, and about the sea. Once it had stopped in a small island to take rest, as they would continue the journey in the next day. Dheeraj was hearing two dogs' conversations. They were saying that a storm was going to approach the next day. So if any ship went, it would immediately drown. Dheeraj was thankful to hear this. He went and said to the ship's captain what was going to happen and what he had heard about the dogs, what the dogs had said. The ship's captain wondered, was this true? How could a dog be true? He thought, my salary will be cut if I don't go today, and I am the ship's captain. I know when a storm is approaching and going to approach. I don't think there's a storm approaching. I think it's good we go. Dheeraj again tried to explain to him what was going to happen. He said, please, captain, give me one chance. If there isn't a storm today, give me a punishment tomorrow about this. But please listen to me. Don't go today. The ship's captain agreed. He said, fine. This time it's fine. We'll not go. We'll continue the journey tomorrow. Now, there was a ship beside that. The captain was ready to go and they warned the captain. But the captain didn't listen. He said, I know when a storm is approaching. I have to leave. And that ship left. And in some time they got a news that there was a storm and the ship had drowned. For the captain, Dheeraj became the apple of his eye. He had saved his life. If they would have gone today, they could have drowned. But Dheeraj helped them. Now, many years passed like this. Dheeraj helped the captain in many ways. One day, they stopped by a king's palace. They went to give the king some presents. The king was enjoying a conversation with Dheeraj as he was smart and intelligent. The king was telling to him, even though I close the windows of my palace, there are 3 dogs who are barking continuously out of my house. What do I do? The captain looked at Dheeraj and smiled. Dheeraj knew what to do. He said, can you open the windows for me to hear clearly what are they saying? The king did so. He heard carefully and then said, there are 3 dogs, a father, a mother and a child. Both of them are fighting whose child it is. The mother says it is her child and the father says it is his child. They don't know what to do. And the child is saying that it wants the king to decide whose child it is. The king smiled at Dheeraj's intelligence and said, the child is of the dog's clan. Then the dogs happily went away without barking. The king's problem was solved. He thanked Dheeraj and said, you are very intelligent to be a minister of my court. I make you a very big minister of my court. The ship's captain felt happy that the king was noticing Dheeraj's talents. And now Dheeraj was even the minister of the king's court. He was very happy for Dheeraj. One day, Amit hosted dinner and all the ministers had to come of the king's court. and so even Dheeraj had to go. That day, Dheeraj had gone. When he went there, they had a peaceful dinner, and in the end, on those days, there were no taps. So, Amit got a bowl of water for Dheeraj to wash his hands, and Preeti came with a towel for him to wipe his hands. Dheeraj smiled. Maybe they did not recognize him. In the side, he saw that Ramu was working. He was so happy to see him. He said to Amit, "Can you call that person?" Amit said, "But he is only a servant. He can't do any good to you." He said, "I want to meet him." So Amit called him up, and Dheeraj explained to Ramu, "You were the person who brought me to this level. Remember, 25 years ago, I was an innocent 6-year-old child, and because of you, I have become a royal king's minister. Remember the time when 2 dogs were talking, that Amit would get a bowl of water for me to wash my hands, and Preeti would wipe it. This thing has come true without them recognizing me."
The story tells us that we should not look down upon anyone. Time is very powerful. Hope you all enjoyed the story. Please leave your comments and do let us know your thoughts. Thank you.